Hi guys, this is Miss Hart-Townsley, and I'm going to give you a tutorial to set up this cell transport lab. This is at the end of lesson 2.02, early cells, so be sure you take notes over the module, or excuse me, over the lesson, and then once you get to the lab, please follow these instructions when submitting. This is for every lab, not just this one, but I wanted to make sure to clarify one more time. So, just a brief background, you will have the option to complete this lab through a hands-on or video observation format. Regardless of the method you choose, you must form a hypothesis and record your data and observations. Okay, I've been getting submissions that do not have hypotheses, nor do they have recorded data, nor do they have answers to the analysis questions. Okay, so that means it's an incomplete lab and I'm not going to accept it. I'll return it and ask for a resubmission. All right, anytime you have a lab in the module, please be sure to read this background information, okay, before you email and ask what to do. Just one more piece of information. Eggs are a great example of a cell. Underneath the hard shell, it is a thin membrane that is just like the cell membranes in other cells. Remember, the function of the cell membrane is to control the internal balance of the cell and maintain homeostasis. All right, so we know that we need to, in our lab, we're going to get rid of that shell. If you've already looked through it, you know you're going to put the egg in vinegar to dissolve the shell so that we can get to the cell membrane. Maybe you're going to watch the video in which you will also notice that they have dissolved the shell. That is not the lab. Yes, I know vinegar will dissolve an eggshell. This is not what we're doing here. So we need to look at our lab report. And so I'm going to open up the lab report, which gives me additional information about what I'm getting ready to do. It gives me my focus question, which is, how are cells affected by the movement of water? And then it gives me a place to write my hypothesis. So my suggestion is to select, highlight, and copy all of the information on the lab report and put that into my assignment note. So I make a new note. I title it with the lab, so I could say 2.02 Early Cells Lab. Okay, and then once I get into the field, I can simply paste my lab report in there, and now I have everything I need to submit. I know I'm going to get full credit because I've included all the different parts. All right, so for example, one of the components is making a hypothesis. I'm going to give you a helpful hint here. Let's review. You know that a hypothesis is a statement of the possible relationship between the independent and dependent variables. All right, so if I'm getting ready to make a statement between the possible relationship of these two variables, I need to know what these two variables are. Okay, and so what I'm doing, or what I'll do, is I'll list my independent variable. This is the variable that changes on purpose, so what am I testing? And that's going to be placing the egg in a water solution. So my independent variable here is type of solution. Remember, the egg represents the cell, the solution represents the environment. I want to know how are the cells affected by the movement of water. So I've got the type of solution. My dependent variable is what I'm measuring. Okay, and so in this case, what I'm measuring is movement of water, and the how. Okay, so remember our experiment design diagram. How am I going to measure movement of water when I can't see water moving in? Okay, it's going to be the size of the egg. Okay, and so I'm going to be measuring the size of the egg. If the size increases, if the egg size increases, then I know that water has, let's do an equal sign here, water moved in. If the size decreases, then the water has moved out. Okay, so let's review. My independent variable is the type of solution. Okay, just using some vocabulary from the module. I know that there are three types of solution. There's a hypotonic, a hypertonic, and isotonic solutions. So depending on what we're moving or what we're putting it in, we will change that on purpose. All right, so let's go ahead and write our hypothesis. So then it's in an if-then statement. So if I place the egg in A, and this is where whatever you think the water is going to be. Do you think it's going to be hypotonic, hypertonic, or isotonic? So I'm going to say isotonic, and just let you know it's not going to be isotonic. So please don't copy this down. If I place the egg in an isotonic solution, then the size of the egg will remain the same. Okay, another way I could write this, if water is an isotonic solution, then the size of the egg will remain the same. Okay, and so if then statement, I've got my independent variable here, and I'll just go ahead, let's go ahead and highlight that. I'm going to make it purple. So that's my independent variable, and then size of egg is my dependent variable. We'll make that green. All right, and so we can see how hypotheses are always the same. Then, depending on whether I watch the video or do the lab in my kitchen, I'm going to have some observations, the circumference of the egg, so the size, and at the very end, I'm going to answer some conclusion or analysis questions in complete sentences, and I need to make sure you understand that this needs to be based on data. Based on data. Please do not forget, you can't say the words, I think, I believe, or I feel. All right, because based on data, if it's based on data, then you don't have to think or believe it or feel it because you actually got the numbers there. Okay, so I'm going to say do not use. Okay, do not use the words I think, I believe, or I feel. All right, so write those answers in complete sentences right underneath here. I strongly suggest you changing the size or the font or the color just to make it easier to read, or maybe you could bold the question and then type this in normal face. Either way, once you're done, don't forget to submit your link. For my application, I have to go to Note Link here. In yours, remember there's a share button in the upper right-hand corner where it says Copy Note Link or Note Link. And that's what you are going to put into your Connexus assignment. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope you have a good day, and if you have any other questions, let me know.